your Florida vlogger, and welcome to today's motivation. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. So I'm just going to be on for a little bit and I'm going to give the message and I'm going to drop the mic. Okay? I don't know. Maybe we'll be on here 10, 15, 20 minutes. We'll see how it goes. So today's topic is get out of your own way. How often do many of us have some goals? Hey, Real Odds and Events, how are you doing? Welcome. How many of us have some goals for our life? Some certain things that we are trying to strive for and certain things we're trying to achieve, but we don't get to our goals. We don't get where we want to get because we may be the problem in the solution to our stress, to our anxiety, to even our ultimate blessings. So I wanted to say this to somebody who needs to hear it. And I got a reminder yesterday from a really great friend and mentor that was telling me that I needed to get out of my own way of my success. And many times we will be blocking our goals, our dreams, our blessings, our gifts, our talents by ourselves. Some of the things that we have in our own mind, putting our own self down, discouraging our own self, listening to what maybe somebody said to you as a child or years ago. When you have some fears, some insecurities, when people put things in your mind for many years and browbeat you and point their fingers at you and make you feel like you're not enough. See, when other people make you feel like you're not enough, how do you take that and take it apart and apply it to your life? I'll tell you something, growing up hearing lots of negative words, lots of negativity, you're stupid, you don't do anything right, this person, this sibling, this friend, this associate, they do it much better. Why don't you try to be like them? And all of those things, it gets into our mind and can get us really discouraged without even our knowledge. I didn't know for many years that I was so affected by childhood trauma. I was so affected by the words that people say. And you may not think that it's getting in the way of your happiness and your success and your potential in your life, but it does. We get in our own way. We block our own blessings. We block our own dreams and our own potential to thrive and to learn and to grow just because we put so much power and so much weight into what other people that we care about said to us. Hi, Sama. We put so much weight into what somebody says. And I'll tell you something, as coming from that background, I remember when my parents used to say things that was very hurtful. And I don't know about you all, but I know for me, being that little girl and hearing that I was stupid, I was foolish, you don't do anything right, why can't you be like this? And years of hearing this, it does affect you. And I'm not going to lie, we want to say we love ourselves and all of those things, and that's great. But we have to resolve some of the issues from some of the emotional trauma and some of the pain that people put on us. Hey, Joshua, how are you doing? Welcome. When our family, your friends, or allegedly people who love us, sometimes it's not because they actually want to do it, but when a person has some unresolved traumas themselves, they put that on you as well. So that's one thing that it took me many, many years to come to a space and a position in my life to where I stopped giving my power back to people that I needed to let go of. And you have to shift that narrative in your own mind. You have to come to the space by saying to yourself, I am not what somebody else thought of me. I am not what other people think about me or say about me. I am not what other people like or dislike about me. What other people think about you is none of your business. I'll say it again. What somebody else thinks about you is none of your business. And I had to let that sit with me for many, many years before I actually believe it. You hear stuff and you say, I don't care. Because I did that for many years, saying, I don't care about what other people think, but we do care. It's only natural. We're human beings. We have the desire for acceptance. We have the desire to be loved and hugged and encouraged and fed positivity and nourished and all of those things. That's a part of the human makeup. But when you are introduced to having people in your life that are toxic, manipulative, or they have some mental illness, and I'm not excusing it, I'm just putting all the cards on the table. When you grow up in an environment that is very toxic, very controlling, very demanding, it can really take a toll right here on your mental health. Absolutely. What makes people get caught in that? I think it's just years and years of toxicity, dysfunction, and I know for myself, I didn't even realize that I was also giving out some dysfunction, because even when you are trying to, elevate and do better, when you grow up in an environment that is very toxic, controlling, manipulative, dark, drama filled, it's hard for you to not have some of those behaviors and some of those traits. Because that's something that it's important for us to put that out there, and for us to realize that we have to be continuously doing our best. We have to continuously keep going for our dreams and all of those things. Sorry about that, real odds and evens. Wrong person that I was hiding. I would never hide you. But we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And this is something that I wanted to say to everybody. Make sure that you are taking care of you. Make sure you're taking care of you. And I know for myself, for many, many years, I definitely was not taking care of me. First, I had to start off by telling myself, rationalizing and wrapping my mind around that I actually was growing up in dysfunction, that I actually did not know how to communicate. I actually didn't know about healthy and positive things. So that's something that you just have to keep on, putting things all the way together in your head, and understanding that what happened to you is not a reflection of who you are presently. And I want to say that to somebody who needs to hear it. Just because we get to be 18 and up, you get to be grown in the eyes of the government. Chronological age does not have anything to do with your emotional and mental age. So many people who are adults that are not mature here. And I didn't understand that part. I thought growing up automatically, by the time you're 18 to 21 years old, you're an adult and things are just going to fall in place. Just having the desire, just wanting to do better with your life is just not enough, okay? Hi, Rye. How are you doing? Welcome. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to anybody who is new. And that was something for me that was so important, is putting that message out there that I don't have to continue in the same toxicity, the same drama, the same behaviors and actions like people in your life, you know? So that's very important to say that out loud and to say that to yourself. I deserve to have a better life. I deserve to be happier. I deserve to have joy. I deserve to have peace. And that's something that you have to be putting in the actions. You have to be putting in the work to make your life that way. You know? And it's a day-to-day process. It's not something that just automatically it's going to happen for you, and one day you'll just wake up and be this happy, positive, wonderful, great person. It's doing things little by little, you know. First, I still got food on the side of my mouth. Sorry about that, guys. I just had my lunch, as you can see. um I had to go about really working on me, healing me. Hi, Muhammad. How are you doing? Welcome. I don't know what the person's name is, but welcome in, everybody. Um, you have to be in control of your own life, okay? If you are not in control of your life, if you haven't made a decision to be happy, you won't be. And that's one of the things that I had to learn, is that I had to make a decision for my own well-being and not just making it be about your siblings or parents and making other people happy. And you can really block your blessings, you know. You really can. You can block your blessings, you can block your hopes, you can block your dreams, you can stop yourself from being the happiest that you deserve to be, all because of your past, all because of a person who may have came in your life and scarred you and hurt you and brings in drama into your life. Mm-mm. So that's one of the things about this life, is we just have to just continuously go on with our life and not let anybody stop us from being happy. Don't let anybody stop you from your happiness, from your life, and from your joy. It's so much in this life that can make us feel like we can't be joyful. It's so much things that can take away. And the first thing that I want to talk about is not allowing anybody else to make a decision on how you're going to be. Never let anybody stop you from being who you are meant to be, you know? Yes, past trauma can definitely affect your future if we let it. And that is the part about it, Real Odds and Evens and the chat. If you allow your trauma to control you, it will. And we don't even think sometimes that we are allowing our trauma to affect us, but okay, say for instance, some things that happened to me when I was growing up. If you have like some, you know, were controlled, or, you know, you didn't do certain things in your life because people told you you shouldn't do that, even something like that, holding yourself back from things that you want to do, maybe because somebody told you, oh, that will never work, that's not good enough, you're not smart enough, and you may not agree with that. But when you hold yourself back by not doing what you know you want to do, it is a response, a behavior, a controlled behavior, because you were controlled for a long time. So that was something that I had to start putting out some positive messages in my own mind, my own heart, and encouraging myself. And I encourage all of my GEMS family to do the same. You know, you have to change your narrative. You have to change the self-talk. And that's why, as an adult, no matter what happened to you, what it could have been last week, last year, whoever hurt you, whoever scarred you, you have to do some inner work, some time for your reflection. And for me, even saying things like, I had a very dysfunctional childhood. This, and this happened to me, and it was not okay. And I am not a reflection of that. I am not my circumstance. I am not my situation. I am not what other people say that I am. I am the one that makes a choice on who I am by my actions. When I started to say those things over and over again over the period of many years, finally one day like sank in, and I was able to start believing in myself and to have self-esteem and have confidence, because we can hold our own self back when we are lacking in confidence. And people will say, "Oh no, I have a lot of confidence. I believe in myself. I love myself." Okay, we can say that with our mouth, lip service, but what is the life that we have? What type of life are you living? It's easy to say we love ourselves, we care about ourselves, we're our own friend, but when rubber meets the cement, what are we doing to prove that? Okay, you say you love yourself. Let me see the life that you're living. Let me see your financial situation. Let me see who your friends are. Let me see, your current living situation. There's a lot of things that prove who we are. It's not just words. It's easy to say out of your mouth, I love myself, I'm my own friend. Okay? The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the results and the life that you are choosing to live. And that's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you make a decision every day to wake up and forgive your past. When I have to sometimes wake up and make a decision to not listen to all the negativity, because it does come up even when you forgive people that have hurt you. Even when you have made a resolve to do better, some things still come up in our head, and we doubt ourselves, and we have fears and all of those things, because we're human and nobody is perfect. But at the end of the day, that's why you get a whole new 24 hours every single day. And I had to learn that I couldn't leave that all up to me. You have to have some things to support you and to help you so that you can live your best life and not hold your own self back. And I know for myself, I have held myself back from dreams and goals, just, like letting some of the unresolved issues in my mind, when you have years and years of people berating you, putting you down, and even if it's not a verbal abuse, even just, zero support, when you want support or you see people in your life that allegedly, supposedly care about you and love you, but there is no support. There is no consideration. There is no quality time or, putting in some work into proving that they actually do. So just like I was saying earlier, it's easy for people to talk about how much they love and care about you, but what are they doing in your life to prove that? See, love is an action word, and it also applies to ourselves. I had to learn that. I had to learn to love myself. And for me, that was more than just, makeup and getting your hair done and this and that. Hi, Nasreddin. How are you doing? For me, self-love is more than self-care. It's my overall well-being. And if you're not okay here, you're not going to be okay in your present situation. You're not going to be okay in any relationship that you have. You won't be. You can lie to yourself. You can put on this facade. You can be fake. You can be smiling in people's face and be crumbling on the inside. And I can only say it because I did it for so many years. Pretending, right? Putting on this mask. Oh, yeah, I'm good. Oh, yeah, I'm great. And you're not. You have to be real with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And I had to learn to be my best self, to be my happiest self, to be myself that was at the most peace in my life. I had to learn to start doing more of this. You got to zip your mouth and stop telling people about your hopes, your goals, your dreams, the things that traumatize you. And you got to reserve that for people who deserve that, because they can be trusted, because they care about you, they check on you, they show by their actions that it's not just them saying, because we know, I know that many of my Gems family have people in their life that say with their words, okay, I love you, I care about you, you're this to me, you're that to me. But then when you actually need them, and not always monetarily, but you need sometimes just a listening ear. Sometimes you just need a shoulder to lean on. Sometimes you just need some encouragement, like, you're going to get through this. Hi, Jamal. How are you doing? Hi, Anyeka. I'm sorry if I botched your name. Yes, showing is knowing. It is. And people have to do more than just talk about they care about you. It has to be more than that, you know? And I'm talking to all of my Gems family that, that they have some layers to them. I always say your real people, it's like an onion. You can pull back the layers with some people. Some people you can only be surface level with them. It's just the kiki and smile and say hi, just being cordial, being an adult, but there is no maturity there. Hey, Miss Lynn, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Hey, David, how are you doing? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. You have to have people, I always say, there has to be layers to them, and they have to be able to help you in different ways. And I'm not talking about financial, because that's usually what people focus on. They focus on the financial aspect of what people can do for them, and relationships is more than just money. Okay, it's what can they give to you, and what can you give to them. It has to be a mutual thing, like Realist One Act Accordingly always says. It has to be reciprocated. Okay, if you don't have people in your life that are reciprocating how you feel about them, that's something that really messed me up for so many years. I'm always talking about, oh yeah, I love them, right? And it's true. We can love people, but they're not loving you back. They're not helping you to love yourself. And that is something that I had to learn in pulling back the layers, elevating, empowering my own mind, that not everybody who says that they love you, care about you, support you actually do. Some people are there as wolves in sheep's clothing. Some people are only there to report your business. They're only there to listen and then go and report back to whoever and spread your business, smear your reputation, or at least they will attempt to. Okay? Yes. Willing to sacrifice, thinking about loved ones more than yourself. And that is something that, you really have to pay attention to these things, everybody. You really do. You have to pay attention to a person's actions. You have to pay attention to a person's, what are they going to do for you? And for me, that's what I really, really pay attention to and watch. It's not what you say, it's the things that somebody is willing to do for you, and you don't have to beg them. I've already said I'm at an age in my life where I'm too grown. At my big age, I'm not going to beg you for your support. I'm not going to beg you for your time. I'm not going to beg you to do things for me. Either a person has to be willingly, openly want to do something, want to. That's the big word. A person has to want to do something for you, and not just do something and then they have an attitude, or they're rolling their eyes, or they're complaining, or everything they do they have to go and announce it to everybody else. I did X, Y, and Z for this person. No, those days are done, and you should be done with that too. Yes, a real odds and evens. Hey, Miss Betty, how are you doing? Welcome. Oh, and there has to be more than just this. And that's why I'm talking about how we can block our own blessings. We can block our own dreams, our own hopes, our own goals, our own life, following behind people. And I don't know about y'all, but I did that for such a long time, trying to be a people pleaser, being the yes woman, or you can apply it, both genders. You can be a yes woman, you can be a yes man, you can be doing all of the things, supporting, loving, being kind, doing everything for everybody, and your life will be falling apart. Okay, your life will be falling apart. You won't be okay. You have to honestly learn how to take care of yourself. And there's no handbook. I think the majority of us as adults, we've just had to go and decipher, trying to work it out. Like, how do I want to be treated? Okay. How do I want to treat other people? And I've heard people say, treat people like you want to be treated, but I don't believe in that, because how some people treat themselves, no, you're not going to treat me how you treat yourself, because you treat yourself like garbage. No, 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 no. I need you to treat me how I treat myself. It's a major difference when I started really working on myself, healing my inner child, and focusing on like who I am and what I want, and not just being what other people want me to be. And that is a thing that will hold you back for a long time, being what others want you to be, being there to support others. You can't always support everybody's goals and dreams, because yours will always get put on the shelf. People will always feel like you should make time out of your schedule for them, to call them, to support them, to do X, Y, and Z for them. But what are they doing for you? Okay. Yep. Yeah. You have to make a decision. You have to make a decision on if you want to be a people pleaser, if you just want to have a person as a title. That's my friend, my sibling, my parents, my wife, my husband, my this person, whoever they are in your life. You can have the titles, you can have all of those things, but does that make you happy? And that's something that I had to do some real reflection, introspection, healing, and asking myself, why am I allowing this? You can have all of these people. You could be in a crowd of people. You could come from a big family. You can be in a romantic relationship, but that does not mean that they're supportive and caring about you. People will say they're supportive and care about you. People will tell you they love you just because they want to use you. You stop feeling that need. You stop doing X, Y, and Z for them. You stop giving them your money and your time, and we'll see how much they love you. People only love you as much as they can use you. Once they can't use you, once they can't manipulate you, they can't control you, now it flips and turns all the way to hatred. I've seen it happen in my life so many times, Bye, Nazareth. Have a great day. That's one of the things that I personally had to learn as a woman, that what somebody thinks, what another person's opinion, what another person is doing in their life does not have any reflection on me. Okay? Don't let it be a reflection of you. Hi, Lucifer. How are you doing? I had to learn that you are not a product of other people's opinions, and that can really block you for a long time if you feel like you have to be something that maybe you don't like. Maybe that's not your personality. Maybe that's not your behavior. Maybe that's not the things that you like. I appreciate that, Lucifer. But that's something that I personally had to learn as a woman. And also all the ladies, all the gentlemen, I always speak about how important it is to have your own self-esteem, your own love for yourself, your own friendship with yourself, okay? Mm-hmm. You got to have your own relationship with yourself. You have to it's a continual basis. It's not something that you do when you are let's say 18 years old, and you have to regroup and reset and come back to that all over again. Hi, gym leader. Of course I do. Um, Everybody should have habits, but the thing about it is, do you have healthy habits? We can be doing a lot of things, but it's not conducive to our personal growth, our personal developments, our encouragement, our peace. So those are the things that, I personally had to learn, and every single person is different. What one wants, what may make you happy, it may not make another person happy. And that's why you have to have your own you have to have your own self-awareness and be cognizant of what is affecting me, my mental health, emotional health, financial health, physical health, spiritual health. You have to make those decisions for yourself, and then you have to do some reflecting. Why do I allow this? You know, and that's one of the things that I just have to personally keep, evaluating on a day-to-day basis. And like I said, I always do my best to work on healing and be positive. And there are some people that I had to learn as I've healed, as I've grown, as I've matured. We have to cut off certain individuals. You have to block certain individuals because they disrupt your peace, or they're stopping you from your goals because of their negativity, or they want to keep you on their same level. And I found that relatives, quote unquote friends, even a romantic partner, can hold you back from your ultimate goals and your dreams in your life. It will, if you allow it. And that's one of the things that I had to learn when I started working on me, healing me, fixing me, and being a better version of myself. I had to learn that certain individuals in my life was holding me back from being happy. Have you done that sort of reflection on yourself and ask yourself, am I really happy, or am I making other people happy? That was a You think you're happy sometimes because you're fitting yourself into their mold and you're doing what they want to do. And we can be like a robot, okay? Do this, do that, or like Pinocchio, being controlled. They control the strings, move this way, go this way, do that, think that. And as long as you do those said things, you're okay with them. But anytime if you go outside the box and you start becoming more of a free thinker, when you start, doing some things that you want to do for yourself and not including them in your decision making, the more that I have learned myself, I've learned to set boundaries and to enforce them, set them and enforce them. See, I think the latter, the majority of the population does not do. They do not reinforce. They'll say, I don't like this. And then when something comes up, they'll kind of wobble onto opinions or give in to what another person may think. Okay? When someone, asks you, why do you have to do that? And then you start second guessing yourself. Well, why do I do that? Or they say, don't do that because it didn't work for me. Do you now change and shift your plans because they don't like it? That's something for you to really do some reflection and ask yourself. Okay? Hi, Nazradin. That's something we have to do some reflection on ourselves. No, I have not read that yet, Gym Leader. That's something that I personally am always seeking, things that bring me peace, things that bring me joy, and making sure that the individuals that are in my life, I don't have to agree with everything, because I have friends, I have family that have various opinions and they're not mine. But in my maturity, in my healing, in my personal growth and development, I learned that I can agree to disagree. And the same thing with me. As long as that there is mutual respect, you can deal with anybody. But when somebody wants to tell you that something isn't right because of something as simple as they don't like the color, or how you dress, or what you do for a job, because that's not what they want to do or what they like, then that's not a person I can really deal with on a regular basis. Because for many, many years, I held myself back from goals and dreams that I wanted to do, because I was around individuals that did not want to elevate, they did not want to grow. And I've always been a person that has always been very interested in gaining knowledge, and being around mentors and volunteering my time, and growing, elevating my thinking, introducing myself to various cultures and backgrounds and artistry and things like that. So if you are always constantly seeking to never let yourself get comfortable into thinking just the same things all the time. That's why I love travel, and I think travel is really good for your mindset and your focus. When I started to see that my life isn't just where I personally live, I needed to be able to see. I've read about other cultures having, some war and some other issues, having very coming from a third world country, and, being at the poverty line. We can see those things maybe on TV, but for me to see it in person, it did something for me that wasn't the same as reading in a book. When you introduce yourself to travel